Welcome back, everybody. So this is my Gotham review for this week. But before I go into that, I've got two things that I need to talk about before I get into this review. Number one, I am still ill. Actually, I'm worse than yesterday. I've got a lot of pressure around my head and my eyes. My eyes feel like they're about to pop out, and I feel I feel really, really rough again. So I do apologise if this review is very stuttery or all over the place, but I am finding it very hard to concentrate at this moment. Second of all, yesterday I did a live feed on my YouTube channel. After an hour after I done this live feed, it got removed by YouTube because it didn't meet the community standards guidelines, which has now resulted in me getting a strike on my channel, and they've revoked the option for me to do live feeds on YouTube. Once I did some digging into the reasons why they did this, I do 100% agree with them. I'm not going to try and dispute it. It's basically when I was talking about certain aspects of Gotham is the reason why they did this. And now I do want to carry on doing live feeds, so the only other option I've got is to post a link to my Facebook page in the description. If you can click onto that, like my page, and then in the future I shall do some live feeds for you. Now, Gotham, episode 18, named That's Entertainment. I went into this episode really, really excited, especially after last week's episode. And I was also very, very worried that I was going to get exactly the same palaver about watching this episode as last week. Luckily, I didn't. I have watched the episode twice. This episode mainly focuses on two storylines. One of them I didn't like so much, which I'm going to get into in a minute. And the other one is obviously the follow-on from Jerome and Jeremiah. Now, the storyline I didn't like particularly much in this episode was the Barbara Keene and the League of Shadows. There is something about that which I disliked. I don't know why. I don't understand why. It just seemed like it didn't make any sense. And to the point where I may actually have to watch it again. It was not strange. It felt like there was a lot of gaps in there which needed to be filled in. Now, unless they're going to do that in the next upcoming episodes, I just at this moment don't particularly like that storyline that went on. I don't know what. Like I said, I can't put my finger on it, but look, it just lacked something. I think that's the reason why I didn't enjoy it as much. Now, going on to the main part of this episode. So this is basically the follow-on from last week's episode where Jerome basically was trying to find his twin brother Jeremiah, and basically at the end of the episode he said he was going to turn him mad. So in this episode, once again we got to see a lot more villains doing a lot more bits and pieces. In this episode we got to see Mr. Freeze doing some badassery in this, and Firefly. You also had the Scarecrow again, the Scarecrow, he's my favourite villain. End of story. And the Penguin obviously was in there, who doesn't agree with what Jerome is planning. Well, he doesn't really know what he's planning, but he's not on board with Jerome and this plan. Generally, those elements just in itself is what made this episode for me. So basically, in a nutshell, Jerome goes and kidnaps the commissioner, mayor, vicar, cardinal, and all that, and takes them to a concert and holds them hostage until he wants two people to arrive. One, his brother Jeremiah, and two, Bruce Wayne. And if they don't turn up, or if they don't get them there, the commissioners and all that will basically get their heads blown off. And a couple of them did, to be fair. Jerome in this, I really, really do enjoy his psychoticness in this. He's a complete madman, and I absolutely love him. He's brilliant. I love this interpretation. He reminds me of two different Jokers that I've watched before in the past, and I just really, really do enjoy. I really did enjoy him a lot, a hell of a lot. Now, moving on to, obviously there was a plan. They had to release a lot of gases at once, and the way they were going to do this reminded me of the 1989 Batman, where the Joker had the balloons. Really, really cool. There's so many different elements, and I'm trying to condense this down into one, but I think I'm just going to go straight for the main bit now. I am going to go straight for the main bit. Screw it. Let's do it. So, near the end of the episode, you see that Jerome is in a little bit of a sticky little situation with Jim Gordon, which then I'm not going to give this away just in case you haven't seen it, but everybody that has seen it, you know exactly what I'm trying to say. There is a great scene which once again reminds me of the 1989 Batman. In a way, it reminds me of that. For me personally, that's the bit on the car. Like I said, if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm on about. If you haven't seen it, you might get the same interpretation as me. You might not, to be fair. But going on to the key part of this episode, the bit that I was waiting for is to see a sneaky peek of the new Joker. And how they did this, I was always going to wonder at what point of the episode they were going to do this and how they were going to do it as well. And the way they pulled this off and the way they did it, I absolutely loved. And just before it finishes, you get to see a slight sneak peek of what he could potentially look like. And I think he is going to be a good... I know that Jerome and Jeremiah are played by the same actor, but this newer Joker, I think, is going to have a completely different feel. I don't know. I've just got a feeling. I think they're going to up the game a little bit more, and it's just going to be really, really cool. Absolutely epic. And I really, really can't wait to see future episodes. I loved it. I actually generally did. I actually really, really did enjoy this episode a hell of a lot. And I really, really can't wait until next week to see what is to come. So, on that note, I do apologise if that was a little bit all over the place, that review. But, like I said, I'm really, really struggling to concentrate. I had it all in my head, but it never came out the way I wanted it to. So, I do apologise. So, on that note, please tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below as normal. Hope you have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care and goodbye.